Alright, well, we are back in the car, and it is apparently harder than I thought to buy hydrogen peroxide in volume. So far, my first stop at the drugstore was not fruitful. Now we are off to Walmart, and if not that, maybe Canadian Tire. And if we can't do that, we're gonna have to wait till the next day when a beauty supply store opens again. Ladies and gentlemen, boards and guards, I am excited today because we are going to start some adventures in retrobriting. That's right, we're going to take things to the next level. I have a lot of computers that have yellowed. I have some that have even beiged or turned a hot shade of urine. And nothing I want more is to restore them to their original glory and bring out that delicious beigey gray that they originally were. Nothing like the urine-y beige that we see now. Anyway, there's a lot of different ways we can say yellow, but for the meantime, I've acquired the tools and equipment required to do a bit of an experiment here. I've purchased this old Coca-Cola menu board, which I think is going to be a perfect test dummy for what we're trying to do here. As you can see, this thing was a big fan of household waste, food waste, and I believe that was rubber-backed carpet. And we are going to try and clean it up. Unfortunately, I was only able to get my hands on 3% peroxide, so we're going to see how well this works. If it works just fine, then brandy wine! Anyway, if you don't already do so, check out the channel. We got lots of cool videos about old computers and technology. And make sure that you drop us a like and subscribe! Let's clean this up and then dip it in some peroxide. Oh yeah, and before we dip in peroxide, we gotta take a look at this sweet cat. Alright, big yellow sign, and cat's back to give it a big old sniff. Isn't that nice? It smells like dust. It smells like years of disappointment. Okay, so cat's gone. We can flip this thing out. We've removed the back plate. Time to get the letters off so we can give it a good scrub before the peroxide bath. So you gently work the food waste letters out. Same with the rubber back letters. All right. So with the letters free, we can shake them loose, make them a nice little pile, and then time to wash the sign. And since I didn't want to show you my hideous bathtub, we're going to use a Rubbermaid style container. Pour some hot water in it, and then some medium hot water, and then some warm water. And then a little soap, a little scrub-a-dub-dub to generate the bub. And in goes the sign. So push it below the surface, make sure that all the liquid gets all over it. Let it sit for a bit, you know? Get a good soak going on, like when you're doing dishes. Or better yet, when you should be doing dishes and you're telling people that they need a soak, so you don't have to do the dishes. So now that it's soaked, we can scrub the grime free. Kind of hard to get all the grime off a sign this old, but you know, you do your best. You do your best with what you're given. Yeah, I feel like there's probably a phrase about that. Something to do with God, maybe? Anyway, let's pull this thing out and take it out to my freaky looking bathtub and rinse it off. I'm not going to show you that part because, you know, the bathtub looks worse than the sign. Anyway, enough about the tub. Give these letters a scrub because, you know, they have feelings too. All right, so I have some UV lights here. It turned out only 2 of these sets were UV lights. The other one was just a set of light-emitting diodes, also known as LED. And my third hand there did a great job of pulling that out. So here is our tub, nice and dry again, and we are going to attach a bunch of tinfoil to the bottom to create reflective surfaces to trap UV light rays and bounce them back. So once we tape that down, we have to take a break from the foil and start taping on our UV lights. And the reason that I did the bottom first is just to kind of get an idea of like the height at which I wanted the UV lights to go. So see here, we're starting to pop them on. Piece of tape works fine. Oddly enough, these things get warm, but the tape is fine. My butt kind of looked like a potato there. The good thing we don't have too much more of that. So we have the set going around the sides. Plug them in, and they are still working, which is as expected, I guess. Now we got to put some across the top, and we're going to do so in a way that we can still slide that sign in past it without getting a bunch of peroxide onto the strips. So I'd like to reuse these, believe it or not. And the rest of the tinfoil case is created. We want those UV light rays bouncing around like psychos. Okay, sign fits. Time to pull out my 6 jugs of 946 ml, or 1 liter, hydrogen peroxide 3%. 4 of these is roughly 1 US gallon, so suck on that, America. About a gallon and a half. And with the price of gas these days, okay, so we're gonna finish putting on the tin foil, and then I think we're gonna add a little bit of water. Yeah, just a bit of water to make sure that everything spreads around. I think we have a nice even surface over top of the sign. This is what it looks like inside.
Oof, that's warm already.
Yeah, and it is starting to get a bit warm. So I guess that means it's doing its job. You know me, I'm a full seal kind of guy. Talking about Kiss by a Rose. Talking about bouncing a ball on my nose. Yeah. 2 different types of seal there. Okay, we are not quite at 24 hours. This is more like 18 hours. You can still see that there's a lot of yellowing on there, but we are only using 3% hydrogen peroxide, and we could have more UV lights, but I think we're doing something. We'll check up on it tomorrow. So it looks really dark in there right now. So does my finger, though. That is odd. What is going on with this? Let's pull the sign out and have a look. An actual look. I want to go the least destructive way. So I do want to maintain it. Interesting. Alright, so here we have the side by side. I don't know. It obviously needs a little more work, but I think we did a pretty good job. There's a few corners here, like this one, which had a bit of yellowing left over, probably from the weights I used to hold it down. I think overall it looks good, so a few more days and it should probably be perfect. Alright, gang, that's where we're going to leave this one for this week. This thing, I think, is objectively looking better, but we're going to put it back into the solution and let it go for a bit longer. I think if I had to do this again, and I will eventually, I would use a higher percentage of peroxide and then maybe try and control the temperature a bit better. It's kind of hard to do in this apartment because I want to keep the windows open to make sure we're getting good air circulation, and that results in, you know, an overnight temperature that might cool this down a bit. Like I said, I was only able to get 3% peroxide from Walmart, so I'm going to be looking at a beauty supply place that has access to higher concentrations of hydrogen peroxide in larger volumes, so hopefully we'll be getting some 4-liter jugs. Know what I'm saying. With this one, we're going to give you guys an update later this week. I'm going to put this back in the solution for maybe 2, 3, 4 more days. Be sure to check out the links below for social media, Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, and all that other good stuff. I would also like to thank my Patreon supporters, Justin Morgan, Ron's Computer Vid, Starbuck Tech, Adam M, Groupride, Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, Trina Conrad, Garth Beagle, Mac84, Ethan Palomero, Andy, David G, and Larry C. So thank you so much, everyone, for supporting the channel. We're going to dunk this thing right back into that hydrogen peroxide solution, much like I like to dunk my face into mounds and mounds of rice cake treats, even when I already feel full. Crispy Minis. Feel like Satan made those. Crispy Minis, these streets ain't safe.
All good.